First, let's talk about reporting. You will be writing across many formats: dissertations, journal articles, policy briefs. Each has a different structure, but the ethical obligation is the same. Clarity. Obscure writing is not a sign of intelligence. It is a barrier to understanding. We have an ethical duty to write clearly and precisely so our work can be scrutinized and used. We also need consistency. Your reporting style must align with your methodology. Don't report qualitative themes as if they were statistical variables. Respect the logic of your method in your writing. Authorship is often a major source of conflict in academia. We have to ask, who counts as an author? We generally follow standards like the ICMJE, which require 1. Substantial contribution to design or analysis, 2. Drafting or revising the work, and 3. Final approval. We must strictly avoid 2 sins: ghost authorship, hiding someone who did the work, often a junior researcher or industry writer, and gift authorship, adding a senior professor's name just to get the paper published, even though they did nothing. Authorship must be earned, not traded. In team science, this gets messy. Transdisciplinary teams are large. How do you list 15 authors fairly? We recommend using taxonomies like CREDITY, Contributor Roles Taxonomy. This allows you to specify exactly who did what, who did the conceptualization, who did the data curation, who did the funding acquisition. It brings transparency to the list. Crucially, we must determine how to credit community partners. If a community leader contributed significantly to the design and interpretation, they deserve authorship. We need to push back against journals that don't recognize non-academic affiliates. We are currently living through a replication crisis in science. Many famous studies cannot be replicated. To fix this, we must adhere to transparency and reproducibility. We are moving toward open science, sharing our code, our raw data, anonymized of course, and our protocols. This allows others to verify our findings. It keeps us honest. We must report exactly what was done, not just the parts that worked. If you ran 20 analyses and only one was significant, you have to report that. Cherry picking is a form of lying. This leads to the ethical imperative of reporting negative results. We have a massive bias called the file drawer problem. Researchers run a study, find no effect, a null result, and shove it in a file drawer because journals like positive findings. This distorts reality. Knowing what asterisk doesn't T asterisk work is just as important as knowing what does. If we hide our failures, other researchers will waste millions of dollars repeating the same doomed experiments. Publishing negative findings is an act of integrity and service to the scientific community. Another bad habit is salami slicing. This is where a researcher takes one study and slices it into the thinnest possible slivers, minimum publishable units, just to get 5 papers out of it instead of 1. They do this to inflate their citation counts, but the cost is high. It fragments knowledge. It makes it impossible for readers to see the big picture. The ethical standard is to prioritize the coherence of the finding over the quantity of publications. Write one great paper that explains the system, not 5 mediocre ones that confuse it. We must consider knowledge democracy. Most research is publicly funded by taxpayers. Is it ethical to lock that knowledge behind a $40 paywall that the public can't access? We advocate for open access, OA. You need to understand the models. Green OA, archiving your preprint, versus gold OA, paying to publish. We also need to think about equity. Sometimes gold OA fees are so high that researchers in the global south can't afford to publish there. We must advocate for systems that are open for readers, asterisk and asterisk accessible for authors. Data sharing is expected now, but it creates tension. We have to balance transparency with participant privacy. Before sharing any dataset, you must perform rigorous de-identification, scrubbing all personally identifiable information, PI. For sensitive data, like health records or interviews with vulnerable groups, we use secure repositories with access controls. We don't just dump it on the open web. We require other researchers to apply for access, ensuring they will use it ethically. Finally, we view peer review as an ethical duty. It is the quality control mechanism of science. When you are asked to review, do it well. Be critical but constructive. Don't be a gatekeeper, be a gardener. Help the work grow, and check yourself for bias. Transdisciplinary work often breaks the rules of traditional disciplines. Don't reject a paper just because it uses a method you aren't familiar with. Open your mind to novel approaches. To summarize Lesson 5.3, give credit where it is due, utilizing taxonomies like Credity to honor all contributors. Be radically transparent with your methods and your negative results. Don't hide the failures. And strive for open access to ensure true knowledge democracy. Research is a public good. Let's treat it like one. Thank you.